Hello and welcome to Coffee Conversations. We are here live, yes, a live Coffee Conversations from the RCAW show in Tacoma, Washington. If you're wondering, Roofing Contractors Association of Washington, and this has just been such a great event. We are so excited to be here with our Coffee Conversation guests today. We have Wendy and Dawn and Amanda and Tracy. And if you're wondering why I didn't give you last names, titles, company, all that kind of stuff, it's because I'm going to let each one of our wonderful panelists introduce themselves. Starting with Miss Wendy.
Oh my. So I'm Wendy Marvin. I am the CEO of Matrix Roofing and Home Solutions out of Vancouver, Washington. This is my first RCAW trip, and I am impressed, very impressed. It's been a great show. I'm on the board for Western States Roofing Contractors Association, roofing technology. I'm involved in the industry.
Yeah. And an all-around awesome person.
Thank you.
Don.
Hi, my name is Don Vos. I'm president of Legends Roofing. We started our business in 2002. I'm currently on the board of directors of the Roofing Contractors Association and have been for like the last 18 years.
Don't start is what I hear.
So anyways, I'm happy to be here.
Don, I'm so happy you're here. This is going to be so much fun. Amanda.
Hi, my name is Amanda Fields. I am the executive director of the Roofing Contractors Association of Washington. I have been in the construction industry for 20 years, and I'm excited to start my new job.
And you just started.
I just started.
This is it. So
yes.
Brand new, yes. This is going to be so much fun to talk about all the good stuff. Tracy.
Hi, I'm Tracy Protschu, and I am the ex-executive director of the Roofing Contractors Association of Washington. And today is my last day, not in the roofing industry, but as executive director. I'm going to take care of some personal matters for a while, but you will still see me around, and I'm going to do some consulting for the RCAW in the meantime.
So I know so many of you out there watching know Tracy. We've done so much together. You've owned your own roofing company, executive director of RCAW. So we're going to kind of start there because I'm on the board of RCAW. I feel so honored to be a board member, and this association just continues to do amazing things, including what we're seeing today. So, Tracy, why don't you share and then about what's going on here? What have you done? All this stuff this yesterday and today.
Well, over the last 3 years, we have really worked hard to grow our association and come up with new events and new ways to serve our members, because ours is a service business. We serve our members and try to make their businesses better. So with our magazine and our events, but this is, we haven't been able to get out and do anything, because of COVID and everything for a while. So we really kind of put a lot of imagination into a 3-day or a 2-day event with 3 events and put it all together, and it's really worked out well. I mean, people are here, they're walking through.
We had so much fun yesterday at the shooting event.
I know. The Sporting Plays was a blast, and last night we had a wonderful dinner here.
Yeah.
And today we're having this great show. And, it's just a way for us to get back together and do things. We were able to introduce Amanda, and we're so happy to have her. She's going to take the reins from me, and she's going to keep moving the association in the direction that we have envisioned for it. And it's just an exciting time here.
So, Amanda, how's it been for you? I mean, talk about leaping into the frying pan. You came right into this event. You just started. We met on the last board call. So what have you been enjoying, and what do you about the roofing industry so far?
Well, I've been in the construction industry for 20 years, and being around roofers in the construction industry, you're my people. I feel like I'm back at home again, and I'm excited to continue what Tracy has done so far for the members and grow. And seeing everybody here today is amazing. You did a great job. I mean, it's a great job.
Well, this was a great opportunity for you to meet people in a confined space. So, you had the opportunity to meet them because, when we have the golf tournament and some of the other events, people are spread out and, they're doing the things that they're doing. But here, everybody's here, and I'm so glad you had this opportunity.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're excited to have her. Can I add to, when we start talking about the pandemic, you start talking about 3 years, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, we were in the throes of that. RCAW is one of the organizations we stuck with as a company because you brought value. You brought me information that I needed as a contractor when we were terrified, and justifiably so. We were unknown. We didn't know, and RCAW was one of my go-to places to get information, to tap into Cottony, to tap into resources for the state, because I am here in the state, but just resources for a roofing company. I really thank Tracy and the team that they had at the time, because they brought a lot to our company when we needed it.
Exactly. And you know what? Dawn and I were just talking about that. And so first of all, 18 years on the board. I mean, wow.
The best treasure ever.
I know. I love your spreadsheets, by the way. I think they're great. But you and I were just talking about that over there, about the importance of the association and the value that it brings for the companies. What have you seen? What have you seen over the last 18 years with this association?
The biggest thing I see is a lot of contractors see no value in an association like ours until they have a problem. So we don't create any value. The contractor gets a citation from the Department of Labor and Industry, and then they call Tracy and say, "What are you going to do for me?" And instead of being proactive, they're now reactive. And the association has a tremendous amount of resources that you need to really, not only paper resources, but networking with somebody like myself. I had a great conversation with a young gentleman, a roofing contractor, last night, where I offered my services to him to help educate him on the impact that unemployment security can have, that Department of Revenue can have, that Department of Labor and Industry, proper ways of doing time cards, things like that are essential to business, that a lot of people just don't see any value in it until they get an audit from the Department of Revenue and they have a huge citation. So the association has resources that you can tap into to make yourself a better businessman or woman.
And to avoid those pitfalls before you have them happen.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And so, I started in roofing in 1976, so I've got a lot of years invested in this industry. Been in management since 1982. And I'm still learning. So when you think you know it all, you're going to find out you don't know very much.
Very much.
So tap into the resources that the association can provide, and I think you'll find tremendous value.
I was just talking, I was on one of the presentations, thank you. I was a speaker here, it was great, and Justin with Actons was in the presentation, and I asked him during that time, I said, why are you involved with RCAW? And he says, because I just want to give back. I just want the professionalism of the industry to continue to grow. And I was like, oh man, it was so great. And so, Dawn, what have you seen, just even in the last 18 years, of the reputation and the professionalism of the roofing industry and its growth?
Boy, that's a loaded question.
And it wasn't even on here. See, I told you.
Well, I think that if I was to say one thing right now today, the economy has been fairly strong. And as I drive around, I see a lot of logos on sides of pickup trucks, names of roofing contractors that I've never seen before. And I think it's wonderful. And the next step of me says, boy, I'm really scared. Because I fear that they're probably very good roofers, but may not be very good business people. And that's where I think an association like ours can really benefit you, so you don't have pitfalls down the road. And so I'm excited about the future. as I mentioned before, the young gentleman who owns a roofing company I talked to last night, I mean, my comment to him last night on a text was, "You're the future." But you're only the future if you're willing to invest in the industry. And so that's what I want to see. I just want to see people grow themselves, and there's nothing like our association to help you do that.
The fact that he was there last night, that says a lot, right? Coming to the biannual meeting, being there, participating, and then being able to network and meet.
There were
Like
and
younger
he wants
faces
to
there.
take me to dinner to El Gaucho, so that's even better. But,
Yum, I want to go.
but
Worked that.
That would work.
that's a little too rich for my blood, though. But,
I love
but
it.
it's exciting to see him willing to listen to an old fart like me and
You are not
and
an
maybe
old
pick
fart,
up a
Don. You are
couple things,
gold.
so.
Yeah.
You are the gold of our industry, for sure.
Wendy, I'm going to ask you the same question because you're involved, like you said at the beginning, with Western States. You're on the board there. You're on the board of RT3, Roofing Technology Think Tank. You've been very involved with National Women Roofing. What are you seeing with the evolution of the industry?
I'm so glad you asked that question again because I was thinking, what did she ask him?
She wasn't listening?
No, I think that there has been a real, and we were just speaking about this at one of the events, the meetings, that there's a change in collaboration right now. Yeah. And there was a younger, he was 9 years old, or their company was 9 years old, so he wasn't that young, but talking about how, showing up to these kinds of events, it used to be really uncomfortable for them. And that a lot of the older guys that had been in business forever just kind of treated you poorly and he said it's so nice to see the change not only in the wanting to help. You're coming from a place of, oh my gosh, the information that you guys can share that have been around since the 70s. Holy moly, Don. I just think of all the things you've seen. I've been 15 years in business, and I'm thinking I'm an old fart, and I'm not even, But the collaboration. He mentioned something about you used to show up to a job and you would talk crap about the person that was there before you, and that seems to be changing. And the National Women in Roofing, I don't want to toot our own horn, but like the National Women in Roofing, we've talked a lot about, there were only a couple seats available for ladies in our industry, and we're kind of making more chairs instead of elbowing each other out of the way. And I think that feeling is growing, and I really believe that is just going to be a key, a linchpin for the industry becoming just bigger. We used to just be right above plumbers, and I used to tease about that, but no, I just feel like we're business owners, and we have every right to be in any place and space.
Corporations that happen to do roofing.
Yeah,
I heard that. I saw
customer
that
service companies that just happen to do roofing. There you go.
I know. So Amanda, 20 years in construction, coming into roofing, what do you see, not just in roofing, but in the construction industry over? I'm going to ask you the same question. What are you seeing on the growth of professionalism, kind of the evolution, diversity, all of that?
Well, a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to a construction worker, a young one, and we asked him how the construction industry was going, and he said, we're finding that a lot of people that are applying for jobs these days are in their 40s. They're not young bucks coming in like there used to be. And he's like, I find that really strange. And the older, in construction anyway, the older ones are kind of going away and not sharing their knowledge. And there are not new construction companies coming up from younger people. And so I thought that was really, really interesting. Yeah. Really. The average age of somebody applying for a construction job is 40.
40.
Yeah.
Wow. And when we think about what we're seeing in roofing and what we're seeing a lot of young people starting to come in. So it's, I want to say it's working. We're doing our job. Tracy, you had a roofing business. You've been the executive director. What you've seen so much of the evolution. You're so involved on a national level with RCAW, being part of that. What are you seeing, and what do you think?
I think that the industry is really evolving, and I'm really excited to see that. I'm seeing, more women and more minority coming in and taking a hold of jobs that they never would have been able to fill before.
Right.
And that's exciting because as we have this huge labor shortage, what a better place to tap than, all of the people that didn't really belong here before, but now we do, and it's such a great thing.
I love the way you say that.
Because, and I know what you mean about, the Good Old Boys Club, and I can remember the Good Old Boys Club 20 years ago and feeling uncomfortable coming on the board of the RCAW because I was the only woman. And now, we have women that are strong in the industry, like you and Brittany on our board. And
you were on Western States, too.
A woman, and at Western States and RCA. And, I think that we're just seeing this blossoming. I think that a lot of it came because we had a labor shortage, but now we're just seeing it blossom into something that nobody expected, and it's super exciting. It's super exciting to see where it's going to go, and I think that a lot of people back 20 years ago used to think, I'm not going to go to that thing with my crew because, so-and-so is going to steal my foreman and stuff. Where now the attitude has changed where I want to bring my whole crew here. I want them to network with other people. If you create a good culture in your company, no one's going to steal your crew. No one's going to be able to steal your crew. But they're going to learn so much from coming to something like this. So this industry is opening up, and it's exciting to see. It really is.
I love that so much because I've been seeing the exact same thing. That is like necessity. Okay, we have a labor shortage. COVID even took the labor shortage to a whole new level, right? And so, but that's changing. So let's talk a little bit. I would really love to hear some of the things talking around we talk about the labor shortage so much, but I always like to talk about a little bit solutions. Like, what are some things you see that are working to get more people involved? So, Dawn, maybe start with you. What are you seeing working or maybe not working? I'm okay with that too.
Well, to be honest with you, people talk about the labor shortage during the last couple of years, but we've been experiencing it probably the last 5 years. And I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't have any solutions. We put out there to our employees that we'd give a $5,000 bonus if they brought a crew in and they stayed for 3 months. We got nobody.
Wow.
So it's pick and choose. I will say one thing for my company that I think affects us in labor is that we take safety very serious. I have a full-time safety director.
Yeah, you have to.
Well, it's my belief you have to, because I believe if you don't follow safety, that's Labor and Industries in the state of Washington is the one entity that can put you out of business. So.
Oh, and how about not going home to your family at night?
Well,
there's a reason why we do it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I had one individual that, and I'll just tell you a personal situation, fell off and broke his back. And we talked to our employees about it, and they said that was God's will. And I really struggle with how do you communicate with your employees the importance of safety and going home to your family when the attitude was it was God's will. So being in an industry since 76, I still struggle. So I don't really I really don't have a good answer.
Yeah, and you know what? You and everybody else. And that's why this collaboration, and like you said with the association and hearing these kind of things, I think is so important. Wendy, how are you doing down in Vancouver? So we have people all over the state of Washington, but what are you seeing on the labor front?
Shortages as well. We're looking in different directions, which is interesting. We have partnered with the Workforce Southwest Washington group, which get in it if you are not in it. They pay retraining grants for people coming from other industries. So we have received somebody from the restaurant hospitality industry. They pay you $1,000 to retrain that person. Hospitality works their butt off, and they come with a really good work ethic and some changes. Do we have to teach them roofing? Yeah. But they start off on a tear-off crew and they do some different things. We also partnered with local Cascadia and some other schools, technology schools, that are taking kids through the construction programs. And, that's invaluable in and of itself, because they're learning not only construction skills, but they're learning kind of the ethics and the respect behind how to network and how to partner and do different things. And so we're getting these young people coming out of the high schools that are just amazing employees.
Wow.
And then, we did the H-2B visa thing. We really struggled with that. That's depending on who's in office, it comes and goes, and it's easy and it's not. And I still bring guys over from Mexico to work with our crews, and that's okay. But like this last year, we weren't able to get any of our guys in. So you just kind of have to be able to rebound. And then just creating a culture that they don't leave. Tracy, said it several times, is just, you've got to be a company that doesn't berate your people, that treats them with respect, that offers something more than a wage, offer a family, do some things, to picnics, whatever it is, to make it so that it matters to come to work, because sometimes it's just not about the dollar.
Right.
Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's not.
Well, and you both have brought folks from your company here to the show.
Absolutely.
Again, getting them network, getting them out there, seeing what's out there. What are you in construction? I love this. You're bringing a whole new kind of thought process that we kind of get enmeshed into roofing. But what are some of the things you're seeing out there? You said they're higher, the average age 40. That blows me away. But what are some of the things that are working that you're seeing possibly in other trades for the labor?
I don't know about other trades, but I'd like to comment on what you were saying before. Some ideas start in the school, go to the schools and talk to the students and tell them how awesome roofing is.
Yeah. And especially as a female, right? Because I stand up and they think I'm the secretary, not the owner.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then on the workforce, before I came here, I worked with the Thurston Chamber, and we partnered with Anu, who was doing construction training, and we put some students through 30 students through a class at a time in all 5 counties: Pacific, Thurston, Mason, Pacific. I mean, and you had to be unemployed to do the training. It was and they all got jobs. They got their forklift, their flagging, their OSHA 10, and then we brought companies in to hire them right out of the training.
Safety.
There you go, Dawn.
Right out of the training. So
and the kids graduate with their certificates too, like I said. So they come trained, which is really, teach them roofing, but they know construction.
I know everything. I was just back at Roofing Day in D.C. for the Advocacy for the NRCA fly-in, and it was about CTE, the Perkins Act, and immigration. So that's all that they're talking about. Tracy, you've been so involved with Advocacy in Washington and things here. Is there anything happening in Washington that's kind of helping on that front?
I have a lot of contractors that are, coming to me and trying to find people all the time, and we have been talking a lot with the NRCA and their programs and trying to see how we can bring them here to Washington. GAF does a great job with their roofing academy, and I've been personally involved with going down to Joint Base Lewis McChord and talking to people at their job fair about coming into the roofing industry. And they look at you like, why would I want to do that? That's just like hammering nails on it. And it's like,
because Dawn's been here since the 70s.
It's like, no, there's so many diverse jobs within our industry. It's not just being on the roof. There's project management, logistics,
accounting,
you name it. And so people have to understand that it's not just hammering a nail or walking up and down a ladder. There's so many other things that are in this industry that they can do. And once that light comes on, it's like, this might be a great industry for me when I get discharged. And the nice thing about the program they have down at JBLM is, those people get discharged and they go home to all places across the country. So having, a network of affiliations with all of the different states and with NRCA and stuff, you can point people in the right direction of roofing companies, that are
in their hometown.
Exactly.
When they're going back. Veterans is that is just such a gold mine for us. And so that's cool that you're going to job fairs. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's really, and what are you, once you explain that, how many do you know of any veterans that have actually come in from that program?
When I was doing it with GAF, with their program at JBLM that kind of morphed into the Roofing Academy. Yeah, they were bringing a lot of people through that program, and we would go down and explain. There'd be several different roofing companies and associations talking to them and giving them ideas on where they could go in the industry with what they learned and what they did in the Army.
Yeah,
we prefer hire veterans all the time, just because they come with a specific skill set that we need.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
and to the safety point, talking about Dawn's safety point, it's like they care.
I know.
It
was. We just had I think, I don't know if I mentioned it here. My conversations are getting confused, but Home for Our Troops was just on Coffee Conversations a week ago, and talking about the veterans, and I came away with that with goosebumps.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was so impressive what they're doing.
The quality of the people that are involved with that program is amazing. And
the quality of some of the roofing professionals who are veterans, like Elizabeth Evans. Yes. Yeah, I mean,
I have a girl crush.
Yeah, I know. I'm telling you, she's pretty amazing. So, but I want to also talk a little bit, Tracy. We have great exhibitors here today. I mean, just quality. And I've been going around, and we've been talking a little bit about material shortages. So I'm curious, what are you hearing from your membership and from the exhibitors here on? It seems like it's starting to kind of get a little bit better.
I think it is getting better, but I know that there's still shortages out there, and logistics still with trucking and distribution is very difficult.
Yeah.
And it's probably, I've attended several dozen lunch and learns and from different people, and they're saying probably second quarter of next year till things get more back to normal and we see things start to level out. And of course the world is in chaos right now too, so it's not just COVID, it's this, that, the other thing, it all feeds in. But I think our economy here in Washington State is fairly stable, so we're very lucky. A lot of other states probably aren't as stable as Washington State is, and that's, because we have some very, very big companies in this state that employ a lot of people.
Yeah.
And, that just works its way down, and that's what keeps our contractors busy, is those people have the means and the funds to do the jobs that need to be done. So,
everything.
But I wanted to step back just really quick.
Yes, I love that.
We were talking about creating value in a company and creating a great company culture to keep your employees. And, when you talk about the value of this association, we have created so much value for our members in whether it's health care benefits, legal services, just across the board. We've got probably about 30 to 40 different things that we've put together just for our members, and those companies can feed off of those and they can pass them on to their employees. And so when you Dawn's talking about the value of an association, that is the value. But you know what, you can join every association under the sun, but if you don't plug yourself into that association and you don't look at the benefits and use the benefits and come to a day like this and talk to the people that are here and find out what's in it for you, you might as well not join, because it's not going to do you any good. You get out what you put in, and that's just like with anything.
Yeah, it's really true. It's really true. You were talking about that with the benefits and really understanding. Don't wait until it's too late. Yeah. Have you raised your?
Yeah, that's. I can't tell you how many times Tracy's, in frustration, has stated that a contractor has called her and after an L&I citation saying, "What are you going to do for me?" And it's too late at that point.
No, too late. What's happening?
Well, it's so funny because someone will call me and say, what do I do about this? And it's like, well, you know what? We had a lunch and learn about that yesterday. Really? Yeah. This is like, yes. And if you'd read any of your emails that I sent you, you would have known that. But, again, it's just, you can't do everything. And I get that. Everybody's busy and everybody has their companies to run, and you can't be everywhere for everybody. And neither can I, as an association. But if we plug into the things that we think are the most important for our company, then you know what, there is all of that content is right there. It's just having to plug into the things, and maybe you missed something, and I can say go to the YouTube channel, because on Tuesday last month we had a lunch and learn on this. Watch it. It'll take you 45 minutes, then call me back and tell me what we can do to further this.
Right.
Well, and stop being a conduit for your business. I don't have to watch the lunch and learn. What I do is I read her bullet point, and I go, oh, this is for ops. So I send it to my ops guy, and I say, I'd like you to schedule this if you have a chance.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be the owners. It needs to filter down through the organization so they get to know you. The other piece of that is make your employees members as well.
Yes.
Because Tracy, when they send out, or now Amanda, when they send out the books come for all of my people.
Yeah.
And they get their own book. They don't have to wait for my book to read it. So plug your people into it too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I love that, getting everyone in the company involved. And you probably have seen that in your experience, right? I mean, working in associations and everything you've done. Is that involvement all the way through?
All the way through, especially with education.
Yeah.
Yep.
We see it on Roofers Coffee Shop, on our educational programs, on demand. People are always coming back, and they're sharing them within and getting to put out there. And you know what? I think when we kind of talk about that value of the association, and we're talking about labor shortages and material shortages, isn't this kind of where the collaboration comes in, and that solutions are starting to be found by sharing what you're doing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's always that, you know, people talk about, you come to this and it's like, oh, I don't really have anything to learn. Really? You can't attend a meeting, and because out of any of these educational things, doesn't matter if you're Dawn at, how many years have you been in business? 30-some? You know, me at 15, somebody at 2.
Yeah.
If you can't walk away with a nugget out of any of these educational opportunities or videos or things to read, there's just something small you can pick up. And if that one thing lights a fire in your business, gives you a tool, I think, I'm not positive about this, but I think it was a educational thing that Tracy sent out that got me turned on to the fact of getting my guys on board with safety by involving their wives.
Oh.
And I was having some issues with safety compliance. I mean, we do training, weekly meetings, we do everything we possibly can. And when you still don't have compliance, you turned me on to the gentleman who had disability, and ended up speaking with him, and he got me involved. He was on a speaking tour and unable to come, but he got me involved to have the wives come. Yeah. And I had their wives come, and I had them stand in front of their wives and talk to them about what it would be like to not be present if they fell off a roof. Yeah. You want to talk about incentive.
Wow.
It was
wow.
great. Yeah, it was great.
And they understand. And you got that through that collaboration.
I got that through just reading one of the bulletins. And then I called her and said, I'm interested in this guy, because I think he's a quadriplegic or a paraplegic or something. And he travels the nation talking about safety from firsthand experience.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. Jeez. Okay. I want to also talk a little bit. Last night at the biannual dinner, we had Gary speak about what's going on in Washington. So I'm going to start with you, Tracy. And just what are some of the hot topics in Washington right now, legislative, that you guys are all working on? Because that is a benefit of the association, is to be that voice in whether it's in Olympia or Salem or Boise or wherever. Is Boise Idaho's capital? I think it is. Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, Heidi.
Yeah.
No, you know, we are so blessed to have Gary Smith, because he has been down in Olympia for 40 years. You know, he knows everybody. He is able to work with everybody, and he gets what's going on, and he has the history to look back and see what has happened in the past, and cautious us to what might happen if this passes or this doesn't pass or this or that. Some of the things that have been hot buttons are like the ergonomics. They tried to roll that back. Our voters voted that down, maybe 2003, I believe. And, you know, bringing that back around, people say, oh, well, that's like somebody in an office chair. No. That has so much to do with how your job site would be run, and how that would turn your whole life upside down. And that's not saying that, no, of course you want to have good ergonomics for your people, but we can't take it to the level that some people want to take it to because they don't understand the industry or how that would affect us or what that would cost. And every time those costs go up, it goes to the consumer. And, it just creates this vicious cycle. And that was one of the big hot buttons that we were dealing
last
with.
night.
And that's the
this
policymakers
legislative
making
slider.
decisions without a clue how it really works in the field. Because
Right.
they talked about water a few years back. We're going to make water breaks mandatory if it's over 80 degrees. Well, come on, it's over 80 degrees a lot on the roof.
Yeah.
And if we have water break every 15 minutes, we're not going to be able to get anything done.
Well,
and so it's policy organizations
exactly.
like Gary and the BIA in our area that kind of hold the light up and go, what are you guys thinking?
Yeah.
I think the 2 legislative sessions back, I went down and testified because they were trying to say that any time that you had any penetration on the roof or you were doing gutters, you needed to have a plumber on site. And it was like, no.
Really?
Wow.
Look at Don's face.
Right now. But, but people
That's the
who
stupid
aren't-
button. We got to push the stupid button.
People who aren't in the industry, they hear it from somebody and think it's a great idea and let's run with this. But until we're involved and we have someone like Gary involved for us to give us the heads up, whoa, this is happening. And that's why, members, please read the bulletins from IBA every month. They are so important.
Yeah.
And it's really, really, I send them out and I just cross my fingers that they're read because there's such a wealth of information in there. Everything from taxes to, labor issues coming down. Gary is he's golden. He's a golden source of information.
It's a
for
heads
us.
up. That's what you
Yeah.
need more than anything. It's just a heads up when something's coming.
It really is.
Yeah.
It is. And the board on RCAW, we get reports on that every month, and we're constantly hearing from. I've sat in a lot of those, Don. So,
Well, I personally, I think Gary Smith is the star at the Roofing Contractors Association, at least in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned so much from him. I've also testified several times down in Olympia. I've gone up to the Puget Sound Clean Air Agency in Seattle and testified. These are the things that you're not going to know working all day long and going home and having dinner and going to bed.
And I don't want to know that.
Well, and most people don't want to know it until it affects them. Until a law is passed and a regulation hits you and you go, what the heck?
yeah.
When you had an opportunity maybe to contact your legislators or senator and maybe get that law reversed and changed so it doesn't affect your business. But the Washington CARES Act is what comes to mind.
That's a great example.
It all sounds good that we're going to provide long-term care when we get older, but in reality, for somebody to be exempt from it, you needed to have your own policy. Well, people that were going out in the state trying to find their own policy, there was no insurance company
None to be
underwriting
found.
it.
The carriers all left.
Yep.
And
So-
then the benefit was only $36,000.
Yeah, it's only
And it
30
didn't go with you if you left your company.
Or
Should
or
be your
you left the
benefit.
state.
Or if you
Should
left
be
the
your
state.
benefit. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just another level of they didn't get it. They
So-
had a great concept, but they
Yeah.
didn't get it.
So those are the types of things that, here again, the association pays Gary Smith to lobby on our behalf, and these are the good things that come out of it. And it benefits every single roofing contractor in the state, whether you're part of our association or not.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that, and I think that makes such a difference. I think those are some of the intangibles that sometimes contractors, companies don't see as they're paying dues, that they realize that's where it goes. And the importance of advocacy and on a state level, that's what state associations are all about. Yeah, and you're going to be right in the middle of this, Amanda.
I know.
You're going to be going
I'm
down
excited.
to Olympia and everything else. What are you kind of looking forward to with all that?
I'm just looking forward to helping businesses, helping you grow and thrive and cut out all the red tape and do what I can to keep like I said, Tracy's done so much. Just keep it going and just help out. Yeah.
And put them down there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's I see the same thing. I mean, just in the it's having a strong board, it's putting all these things together. I am going to just switch real quick, just so we get a couple of these questions in. And this one, I don't even know if this one was on here.
She
but
feels bad because we haven't done any of her questions.
I know. No, this is no, we're done a lot of them. I'm actually kind of looking, going, oh, we did that, that. Yeah. But I want to talk about trends. I want to talk about new trends that we're seeing that is going to make a difference for contractors, and that maybe if they would have been here, or if they are here today, they're hearing some of that. But what are some of the things that really they should be paying attention to? And Wendy, I'm going to start with you.
Technology.
I see. I set you
up. You knew it. We're on the board together.
Yeah.
So. Technology.
Yeah.
I think what's really poignant about the fact that we've lived through a pandemic is the fact that, and labor shortages, is the fact that we need to be looking for better ways to do things that we do.
Yes.
So, if you've figured out that you need to talk to your customers and you need to talk to them in a certain way, that's great. I have a value in my company that's really heavily based on customer service. But when you start losing employees, it makes it impossible to continue that same level. And so then you look for ways to leverage what you have. And technology is just obviously one of the biggest ones. There are people here. You can talk to them. You can ask them questions. You can try it on. They show you things.
Yeah.
We're all looking for the golden egg out there, and the sad answer is there are a million technology companies, and sometimes until you meet them in person, you don't really know what they have to offer your business, or you just walk by and get a demonstration and you realize that you have a pain point that they are now solving for you.
Yeah.
And I think that has been a great piece. I know, Dawn.
I know. So, Dawn,
you're my favorite dinosaur.
I'm technology challenged, to be honest with you. I recall the first Zoom meeting we had of a board meeting. I was pretty frustrated because I couldn't get on Zoom, and Tracy, talking to her on the phone, says, "Well, did you download the app?" And I go, "What app?" And so I'm the challenged one at our office. Most of my sales staff, they're pretty good at it. Thank God.
That's why we have this younger generation, right?
I'm
they
telling
come in
you,
and make it happen for us.
I'm on my downhill slide right now, and I don't want to sound negative, but I really don't care to learn it. I'm too old.
I think you do really well.
I'm going to leave it to my younger staff.
I
but I certainly encourage it. One thing is that I really see in my company is the aerial takeoffs, like Eagle View. GAF has a wonderful program that you can use. I mean, that's made a world of difference. Not only safety-wise, where a salesman doesn't necessarily have to get up on the roof now and put himself in danger, but accuracy-wise, I mean, it's really incredible what really technology has brought to the forefront.
John,
now
you value
roofing.
Technology. You just
I do. I just, I don't have any social media accounts. It's above and beyond me. Of course, my wife does, so
there you
I'm
go.
able to stay connected somehow, but just not personally. But I'm all for it, though. The other thing I see is and I know it's one of your questions here, is I'm so encouraged about women in the roofing industry.
Yeah.
You're only saying that because there's 4 of us.
I'm not. I am really not. I was part of the interview process, and I just strongly, I believe in women and their intellect and their ability to put 2 and 2 together maybe a little better than a male does,
I like that.
I mean, it's encouraging, and I actually have one female employee roofer.
Yes.
So that's
awesome.
Encouraging.
Okay, we need to get her in National Women Roofing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's, there's tremendous opportunities throughout your entire company with that. So I see that as being a big thing in the future also.
Don, I want to say thank you, first of all, for saying that, because
Yeah.
I grew up in a construction family, and my mom and dad, my mom did the books, my dad built, he was a general contractor and stuff, and my mom never even thought that she was like part of the business. That was
value.
just,
Yep.
but when you think about it, for generations, it's been teams of men and women running businesses,
Yep.
putting them together.
And bring different
Absolutely.
things to the
And bringing
table.
and we're just finally starting to really kind of take that to
Embrace
that next
it.
level and embrace something that was just a given for many of us kids, families.
Well, and your
growing
mom
up.
probably said it was your dad's business.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
And
Yeah.
there's a lot of ladies up here just like, no, this is our business. And
Yeah.
I went, oh, yeah, I'm sure. No,
Yeah.
I didn't even say that.
I know.
I get
I know.
it.
Well, I now have Tim will say no, it's her business. I'm like, no, it's our business. So now we're going in the opposite directions with Rivers Coffee Shop.
Exactly.
But I really love that. Thank you, because
Well, and
it's
I'll
important.
tell you, it sounds kind of crazy, but our business cards, we have no titles on our business cards.
Oh, I like it.
That's kind of
And
neat.
so every
Yeah.
single business card in my company looks exactly the same other than the name.
Yeah.
And I'll just tell you, I think of business as a bicycle tire, and every bicycle tire has spokes. And every employee, including the owner, is only one spoke.
Yep.
And so as a spoke breaks, you need to identify that spoke and correct it and fix it. Otherwise, the tire's not going to turn well. And
I love that image.
so you should never, don't lead like a pyramid that I'm on top and everybody's below
Yeah.
me. I'm just one spoke on that bicycle tire.
See, and you're getting it here live, but we could have had that over a drink while we were here at RCAW. Like,
Yeah.
that's a nugget. That's
Yeah.
a gold
That's
nugget
gold
for
Yeah.
any contractor.
I'm already
here.
visualizing
I
the
like
picture
it.
of the wheel and the spokes and all the names of all the people who work. Yeah.
That's a fantastic
So
concept.
an
Love it.
employee falls and gets hurt, that spoke broke. And
Yeah.
so you need to identify what happened, what occurred, communicate that to your other employees, so hopefully it never happens again. But that's the key, I think, to successful businesses. Don't think your what doesn't stink.
Yeah.
'Cause-
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love it.
Humble. A little bit of humbleness
Yeah.
goes a long, long way. So, Amanda, what kind of trends are you seeing in construction and overall?
Well, I was going to say technology.
Yeah.
The only other one I can think of is, I know it was said earlier, but giving each other grace, not
Yeah.
going on the job site and, talking a smack about somebody else or belittling somebody else. I think there's a lot more understanding and grace given
Yeah.
when something happens or a mistake is made, or, people are human, they'll make mistakes. And I think more people are more understanding.
Yeah, I think that is an awesome observation because, do you think, to me, for some reason, it feels like it's gotten even better during COVID.
Yes.
More needed for
Yeah.
sure, right?
Yeah.
Because we're all screwing up.
A lot of
right,
more
everywhere.
grace. Because I can remember before COVID, even just like something like this, right? Somebody made a mistake or something happened, and everybody just kind of get up in arms and all wound up about things. And so I think COVID just humbled all of us just a little bit to be like, it's okay to have a conversation and to be here, and it's okay to make a mistake.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
What a great observation.
That's a
I
good
love
one.
that. Yeah. Okay, Miss Tracy.
Well, one thing I want to say is, keying off of what Wendy said about technology, is that before COVID, it seemed like our industry was so, you were here, you had to have something live to get together at. You couldn't just, hop on a Zoom call and see each other face to face. It was a quick phone call. It was an impersonal email or text. And I see that, we all had to learn, even Dawn, how to learn how to get on a Zoom meeting, how to learn how to use technology, how to learn how to do this.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's made our industry so much better because there's so much more content out there.
Yeah.
There's so much
Connections,
more
yeah.
connection that we can learn from each other. And everyone, COVID, when. Well, yeah, it sucked
Yeah.
terribly. But I will tell you one thing. I think that it was maybe one of the most positive things in this way, that we learned how to connect to each other without having to be impersonal about it. We learned how to find ways to connect that we never thought of before,
Right.
or barely used before. I mean,
Yeah.
and so it opened up all these avenues. Like for an association like ours, so many people on the east side of the mountains or down south, oh, well, that's just a Puget Sound thing. It's not anymore, because
No.
you can be here. You can be here virtually. You can be here right now. And you can be here for all the lunch and learns. And yeah, we need to have more members to maybe do a golf tournament east of the mountains or something like that. But there's so many things that you can be here for with us, you know, even if you can't be here physically, and none of that was available or thought of before COVID.
And companies are offering more options. Like you said, that we do virtual and we do in person.
Yeah,
now.
Right.
So,
absolutely.
and once we start getting all that in person going, the virtual hopefully doesn't go away, so that people who aren't physically
wanna keep
available
that.
can do it. Yep.
We created something where we can reach so many more people with so much more content. And you know what? That came out of a really bad situation. So I find that to be the most positive thing that came out of the last
Paradigm
horrible
shift.
2 years.
Yeah.
Love that.
Love it.
Yeah, and I would not have been able to be on the RCAW board or live, but I wouldn't be able to have been on the board 2 years ago, because you
Yes.
guys didn't do Zoom then, and
Oh,
there's
yeah.
no way I can drive 5 or 6 hours once a month to get to the board meeting, but now I
Exactly.
can, and we can bring our
Yep.
business there.
And
So
we
yeah,
have Rick Selecki from Convoy. He's up in Vancouver, BC, and he's able to
Oh,
be
wow.
on our board and
Yeah.
join in virtually. And some of our board members that live so far up north are able to, you know, they can join us physically when they can, but you know what, they can't, they can hop on from their car phone or wherever they are,
Right.
you know, and we can still have the board meeting and we can have everybody present. And that
Such a
is
good
such
point.
a cool thing.
yeah,
a
and
good
we almost
point.
always have somebody in the phone, in their car. Somebody is doing
Donovan.
this.
But you have to
Donovan
say,
Dodson.
please mute.
Yeah.
Will you guys
Car.
please mute?
Yeah,
So we
I
can
know.
hear your car radio.
We're doing some. Okay, well, so we only have a little bit left. So I want to talk. I want to take this discussion back to kind of the beginning, and I want to talk about membership. So that's one of our big goals. I just love what you said, having the golf tournament on the east side of the mountains. Maybe something down in Vancouver, you know. And so let's talk about membership for RCAW, membership overall, but really let's focus in, since we're here in Washington, about the need for getting more people to spread the word and to talk to contractors within their own, like Spokane, right? How are they talking to each other? How are we going to get more contractors involved? Don, how are we going to do that?
Well, I think one thing, distribution has a lot of learning programs. Let's say it's a teaching class on welding seams of PVC. Let's say they'll have a barbecue there. We need to get in front of them when the roofing contractor's there. And have that face-to-face conversation, because I don't think, as much as I love technology, I'm not so certain emailing somebody's going to work.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of taking advantage of distribution in their barbecues that they have, where their roofing contractors and employees are coming to those, as far as a networking opportunity to maybe increase membership. We need to identify ways to make it valuable for a Spokane roofing contractor to be a member when the association's here on the west side.
Right.
But they're
And expectations, too.
absolutely important. And with the technology today, just like we were talking, you don't have to drive over here.
No, you can still be involved, and it's still all one state government. You want your voice heard. You want things. So I'm going to throw out something that I think sometimes is a bit controversial, but I also believe people need to be invited. We have found this a lot with National Women in Roofing. People have said, or women have said, well, I wanted to be a member, but I just, I don't know. And I don't know if I can fit in or something like that. And I'm always like, people want to be invited. And so I would encourage all the contractors out there who are members, and I think this is one thing we got to talk about as a board member, is how do we invite others to feel like they're included, that this is inclusive to come in? Because sometimes we just want to publicize it, right? You know, we do that in Roofers Coffee Shop. We're always publicizing. We send out an email. We do stuff, but are we really inviting them? Do they get that? Do they understand
in
that?
Washington, I'm Vancouver.
Yeah.
90% of the people around my area go to Portland.
Right, that's right.
Because that was the stronger association for a long time.
Right.
And the change has happened, and the guard is changing, and the resources are available up here, and it's not that far to go. It's not that far to go.
Yeah.
You know, we're in Vancouver, and this is my state association, and you can be close to the border of Idaho, and that's fine if you know their policies, but what's happening in your state
affects
will be
your
known
taxes.
by this group. And like Dawn said, when you get it, when it's already happened, repealing it is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Stopping it before it happens is really where the power comes.
Yeah.
And we see Eastern Washington starting to open up and Southwest Washington starting to open up, and that's exciting for us because we have created so much content that, I mean, if you took advantage of maybe 4 things in our Member Resource Advantage Reward Program as a member, your membership would pay for itself.
Absolutely.
And I mean, if you buy office supplies, everybody does, or offer health care, or do your people wear uniforms? I almost said kids.
A free classified on Roofers Coffee Shop.
Exactly.
Yes.
I was going to say Roofers Coffee Shop
free
benefit.
legal a month with
Cotney or
Reese
whatever
and
he is
Adams.
now.
Adams and Reese.
Good job.
Good job.
Adams
with
Reese,
Trent, with
I have a hard time
Cotney.
with that.
You know, we have so much opportunity available, and if you just take a little tiny bit of advantage of any of those things, you've paid for your membership. Also, when you join us, you become a member of the Clean Tech Alliance, and you become a member of the Independent Business Association.
And that's
Washington.
unique. That's
so
awesome.
you get 3 memberships in one, and so
wow,
doesn't matter where you are in the state, you can take advantage.
And
of
I'm sorry,
all
who
3 of those
negotiated that?
memberships.
Who did that? That would be Tracy.
Yes.
But, you know, so those are exciting things that people just need to hear about.
Right.
And, you know, we've postcards, you know, Jen, your assistant, does such a great job of just getting on the phone and talking to everybody.
Yep.
And she got on the phone and she talked to people for the last 4 weeks about this set of events, and, you know, invited them. She was inviting them. We want to see you. We want you to come. You know, what can we do to get you here? You know, and made them feel invited.
Yeah.
And I think that was that drove the attendance, because people are still a little bit trepidatious about in-person events. And we saw it at IRE and WRE and IRE again. And, you know, things are starting to ramp back up, but getting back out there in person is important.
Yeah. And I can tell you, it's safe. We're good. Everything's been great. We've had so much fun. Well, you know what, Tracy, that was so incredibly well said that I have to just kind of say, we're at the end of our hour. I hate to say that. I can't believe it, but we are. And so I want to thank you, Amanda. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're here. We're going to support you. And Tracy, congratulations. I can't wait to see where you're going, all the things you're going to be doing, because you'll be in roofing.
Well, yes, I will still be here. But when I said it was a personal issue, most of you know me. A lot of you know me that are watching this. Don got his kidney and pancreas. So I'm going to be taking care of him for a while.
Got a new life.
And you know what? We are so blessed with all the people who have called us and emailed and reached out from the industry. You know, you're a family, so thank you.
Yeah. Oh, now you're going to make me teary. Okay,
know, right?
We're moving on. Okay, but it's a celebration, and we're all going to be still working together. Dawn, this is the first time I've really got to meet you that has not been on Zoom. And I have to tell you, it has been beyond delightful. You've won my heart. Thank you for being on Coffee Conversations.
I do have one thing I want to say is I just want to say thank you, Tracy.
Yeah.
For everything you do.
She's tearing up. You're going to make me tear up. Heidi's going to tear up.
We're all going to cry now.
It's been awesome. It's been a great last 3 years, and
thank you for all your support, because you've been there for me so much, and I really appreciate you so much.
We're all a little teary. Okay, Wendy, as always. Thank you for being on here and for bringing all the wisdom you do. One of our RCS influencers. Yes. So
plugging definitely more into this organization.
Yeah. It's
met a lot of great
good.
people.
Yeah.
So good. And I want to thank all of you. YouTube, we've been live on YouTube. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing in the conversation. This is also going to be it's recorded, so it'll be on demand on Roofers Coffee Shop. You can
thank you to
share
recording
it with friends.
staff, by the way.
Yeah,
They're pretty
I
amazing.
do want to say thank you to Megan and Colin, our amazing producers behind the camera and the soundboard. We are here. We still have a few more interviews coming up. We're going to do probably Megan and I'll do a little recap at the end. So don't miss it. Be sure you are subscribed and ring the bell so you don't miss a single episode from the RCAW show live Coffee Conversations. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.